Welcome to Stitchless, Circle Optics in Focus, our behind-the-scenes deep dive into the vision, technology, leadership, and integration that makes Circle Optics a pioneer in real-time panoramic imaging. I am your host, Jennifer Sertle, VP of Marketing. This special feature of 360 Pulse podcast takes you into the heart of what we are doing, pushing the boundaries of imaging technology and redefining what is possible. In this 4-part series, we explore the why behind our process. Now we begin episode 2 on Stitchless, a deep look at Circle Optics technology. And this series today is all about technology. I have our CEO, Zach Niazi, and COO, Ian Gagger, here to actually break down how our innovations validate our credibility in the field. And we have just a little bit of show and tell. So, Zach, I'm going to start with you. Tell us what we have in front of us right here, and then I'll ask some questions about it.
Yeah, for sure. So what you're seeing here is Hydra, the world's first stitch-free 360-degree camera system, and Pegasus, our variant of that product for drone technology for detect and avoid.
You know what I think is amazing? If not all of our listeners have actually heard the genesis story of Hydra, and so can you explain the way in which you kind of created a paradigm shift in imaging with Hydra?
Sure. Yeah. So basically, when I was a student in college, I was curious, why don't we have cameras on top of cars? If we have cameras on top of cars mapping the streets of the planet with Google Street View, why can't I strap on a virtual reality headset right now and walk around Venice, Italy, walk around the pyramids of Egypt? I love to travel, and so I wanted to be able to basically experience any experience in 60 frames a second, not one photo per street block. And so I was curious in college why we didn't have it today, and was fortunate enough to have a mentor who explained to me that basically the camera technology that was existing at Google at the time have these defects called parallax, where you've got to stitch the imagery together. And it's this incredibly cumbersome process. It takes several hours per minute of film. It's manually intensive. And that it's just not possible at the end of the day to map and scale to the streets of the planet with that technology because of all the post-processing it would involve. And so I desired, to be able to build a technology that didn't have that issue in the first place, so that you could have a shot at scalably capturing these experiences so that anyone, anywhere can see what it's like to travel around, the streets of the planet. So that was kind of the genesis to, why build this technology in the first place. Is, what Hydra is all about is it cuts that processing time down significantly. So rather than having to have a human in the loop who goes and edits the content in something like a Photoshop type software, the exact tools are called Mystica VR today, and some other programs like PT GUI, but you can imagine them kind of like these cumbersome Photoshop like tools. And someone having to spend hours of time manually editing in these tools just a few minutes of video. And that's the fundamental reason why 360 video adoption hasn't really scaled today in a quality way. Because, if it takes so long and there's so much friction to capture that content, consumers and users are used to just taking out their iPhone or taking out a camera, and you just click record and it's ready to go. And what this camera does is it basically cuts that friction down for the first time so that anyone, anywhere can become a 360-degree camera expert and with the click of a button, start to record video.
We have a lot of friends at RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, and I also teach a class exploring innovation there. And one of the things that I just want to point out about it is that optic technology is over 200 years old, and kind of the way in which Zach had laid out the design of Hydra was remarkable, and people hadn't done polygons in a way that if you actually put a whole bunch of polygons together, you can actually create a way to stitch with hardware versus the software, which I think is remarkable. And so we have a spherical system, and I also am sitting right next to Pegasus. What's the differential between Pegasus and Hydra, and what are the different use cases?
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to Pegasus, this was really born out of talking to different folks in the market. And, specifically, we got connected with NASA a few years back. And NASA had this problem where they realized that in order to make drones safe in the future, and eVTOLs, which are kind of like flying drones, big drones for flying cars, they realized that they didn't have any technology that's able to meet the requirements that the FAA put forward. FAA basically said, hey, we need something that can see a wide field of view with very long range in a small package in order to fit within these systems to keep people safe, to keep the airspace safe. And radar that can do it was too bulky. It couldn't fit within the passenger seat of one of these aircraft. The optical solutions that exist today, they can only see a kilometer or so out. So we actually started to develop this technology in conjunction with NASA to address that problem, to take our stitch-free lens design, but address a key concern with autonomous vehicles in the national airspace in being able to detect and avoid their environment. So we package all that resolution basically in the direction that drone, that large drone is flying, and that lets us see very far out and create these panoramic views that basically keep these large drones safe from bumping into other air traffic.
That's remarkable. And we also have Ian Gaga, our Chief Operating Officer here. And I think of you as the conductor of an orchestra, Ian, because you have such a talented team with over 200 patents altogether with engineering, software, mechanical, and then marketing, right? So how do you coordinate this dynamic team to create these kind of products?
I think just hiring really talented people, and important thing about leadership is you kind of give the vision, you set the direction, and then there's not enough time in the day to micromanage everyone. You really just gotta let them go, and talented people will get there, and you keep a close eye and you help redirect when needed. But I think just we have so many experienced managers and engineers on the team, and they know how to get the job done.
Can you describe maybe one or two challenges that we've overcome as a team?
Yeah, on the engineering side, I think initially when we started out, we had very tight tolerances on our system, which makes it very difficult to find manufacturers. A lot of people couldn't manufacture to the tolerance we needed, and those who could were quite expensive. Over time, we've been able to ease those tolerances through some different mechanical techniques, as well as some work on the software side, and that has really helped us improve our system and bring the cost down over time.
What are some other challenges that we've overcome?
Right as we were taking off, I joined the team in January 2019, and we were rapidly growing and bringing in money, and then 2020, we all know what happened, right? And it was hard. We used to all work in the office every day, and I'd spend 12, 14, 16 hours a day there sometimes, and then suddenly we were all at home, and we had to adapt really quick, not just to having meetings online, but like organizing an entire team and a workflow, and we had equipment in a lab that we now need to figure out how to remotely access and operate. So that was one of the challenges I think the whole world obviously encountered, but technology has just advanced so far that and luckily I think being a agile startup, we were able to adapt really quickly to that technology. To now we're at a point where we have some remote workers in other states, and most employees work hybrid. So now everyone's in the office every day of the week, and some people come in for the morning, have some meetings, go home, work on some personal work. It's kind of a really nice situation we're able to figure out here.
One last question, Ian. How do Pegasus and Hydra meet market needs?
Yeah, really what's unique about them, and the only thing we offer, and we offer it in all of our camera systems, is everything we do is panoramic, high fidelity, in real time. No one else can do all three. You're always going to drop one of those things unless you're using our technology. That's what makes them so unique, and that's what almost every wide field of view application needs these days.
That's excellent. You've been listening to Stitchless, a special feature of 360 Pulse. We hope that you find us on our website, subscribe to us here, share this story, and follow our journey. Thank you for joining us.